Good day to you all. I am bringing you something a little bit different here than my usual standard content. This is something that's going to be super short, super sharp, and super sweet, and super effective to get your fucking arse in gear for your diet. So what I'm going to do is, as you watch me, voyeurship, I'm going to bring you through what majority of people eat like. Yeah? Let's do it this way. Most people that sign up, and I've said this plenty of times before, are generally 95% of the way there with their diets. Yeah. It is the most mental shit that comes with this job, I have to say. And I think if other people seeing how other people eat, it would make them feel an awful lot better about themselves. And just in general, if they knew how they were eating, this is the biggest barrier for getting in shape, is confidence, is knowing, confirmation. Am I doing the right thing? The minute that something happens, there's a curveball, there's a barrier to entry, anything at all that just doesn't sit right, you bin it straight away, because there's that little voice in the back of your head that says, maybe what I'm doing isn't for me, doesn't work, is pointless, so fuck it. Whereas you were fucking dead set certain what you were doing was effective, you would be a little bit harder to part with it and a little bit more married to it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to list out what the standard diet generally is, societally speaking. And then below that, I'm going to give you tweaks to apply to the original to get you to where you want to go. Because this is how I coach people. If you sign up with me, so up the top is you, on the bottom is where I'm going to do it. So let's actually just map that out. We're going to call this one your diet. We're going to call this one my diet. I'm not even going to space that shit out because I couldn't give a fuck. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what your diet looks like. So when you come to me, this is your diet. And what I do with that diet is I just tweak it ever so slightly. I don't like to overwhelm people with mad change. If you eat fucking the way I'm about to list it out and I start giving you 3 meals of chicken and rice, fuck all is going to happen there. You might do it for a day, you might do it for 2, but at the end of it all, you're going to fucking hate it, not enjoy it, and bin it off quicker than anything else you've ever done. So without further ado, because I don't want to take too long, first meal for most people is usually a kufi. It's usually a coffee. Maybe a slice of toast, right? Biggest issue there. Most people skip breakfast. I don't know why they do that. I'm sure some people believe that they're actually getting a jump on cutting out calories, but you can Google this. Jordan Peterson has said it. One of the biggest causes of anxiety is skipping your first meal. And one of the quickest fixes for anxiety is eating your first meal. If you can get your breakfast in you, now there's 2 ways of doing this. The first one is just a breakfast, eggs and toast, porridge and whey protein with a bit of peanut butter in it. Try and hit everything. Try and get protein, fats, and carbs. In an ideal world, if you just did protein and fats, you would feel way better about yourself. Because what happens is when you ingest carbs, within a few hours, you're going to crash off that insulin spike, and it's going to make you feel a little bit lethargic. So that's why 11s exists, because most people crash and they feel a little bit, and they go, oh, I need something. I need something sweet. I need a coffee. I need something sweet. With a coffee, that's how that fucking whole thing started, because people crash off their carbs in the morning. And the reason they have carbs in the morning is because they think, well, if I don't have carbs in the morning, I'm not going to have any energy. But isn't it funny that it still lends them to skip breakfast in the morning? Coffee is the elixir for all. So anyway, your first meal, coffee, maybe a slice of toast. We'll just say that you have a slice of toast. We'll give you that, right? Your next meal is going to be around your lunch. So let's say you work 8 to 5. Your first break in the day is 11:30, all right? And you're going to go to the deli and you're going to get a chicken fillet roll. Maybe a jambon. Ooh, a chicken fillet Earl. We'll say a jambon and a bag of crisps with a Coke. Right? The next time that you eat is probably going to be your next break if you have it, or just as you're moseying about, and that could be a protein bar because you're feeling yourself a little bit, and a bag of popcorn. Let's just say this is not one specific person. This is just a generalized version of how people come to me with their diets. And then 6:30 is always going to be dinner, and dinner is always going to be whatever's on. Always the way. The missus is cooking it, the mother's cooking it, the housemate's cooking it, whatever's on. And then after that, it can be an evening of snacking or not, right? One or the other. Very rarely in the middle of, I just had a bag of carrots. You didn't, you're fucking shite. So here's how we're going to fix that. And this is what I mean from the set of start, that most people are 95% of the way there. When I look at this up top, right, I'm sure people, if I was to say, right, pick out what's wrong with this, right, I'm sure there's a good few things. You could probably get bags of crisps, a jambon, a can of Coke, evening snacking. But my biggest issue here is that there's no protein in the first meal. That's probably the most glaring thing that I could see there as something that I would fix first, as someone who does this as a profession. So if I was to say one coffee, a slice of toast, right? And again, we don't want to overwhelm the person. We want to keep things as smooth and as silky as possible. There you go. A coffee, a slice of toast, 2 scoops of whey protein with 300 ml of almond milk. Or you could do skimmed. I couldn't give a shit. That would be perfect. Skim milk as well. There's protein in it. There's calcium in it. There's still benefit to be had from it. Is it the best thing in the world? No. But is it better than what you were doing? Absolutely. And that's all we're looking for, is just to bring you a step closer to what you're doing. And a step away from what you were doing and a step closer to where you need to go. Second meal, exact same thing. The only thing I change is change the roll for a wrap, drop the jambon. You can keep the crisps and make the Coke a Diet Coke. Can't go wrong with that shit. Next meal, protein bar and a bag of popcorn. Keeping it. Not changing that shit. No fucking way in hell. There's protein. There's a little snacky thing there. If that's going to kind of keep you somewhat kind of regimented into what you're doing, I'll keep it. No problem. And again, it's carbs. So you're hitting protein. There'll be fats in the protein bar. A little bit of carbs from the popcorn. Not a bother. Dinner. Again, same thing. Not changing it. But I will give it a structure. 14. Fucking autocorrect. Protein is the biggest portion. Carbs come second. Extra points for fats. So protein is always going to be your priority. And not just because it helps us build muscle, not because it helps us keep fuller for longer, not that it helps with muscle recovery. It's because it is the hardest to digest. It's probably going to be the most chewing. It's probably going to be the most satisfying. It's probably going to be the most filling as well. So once protein is the biggest portion on the plate, we cannot go wrong from there. And that's an easy rule of thumb. Let's portion out our proteins by the size of a palm. If you want to even double that shit, you can do it. You're not going to go to town on protein to the point where it starts to deter you from your goals, unless you're eating 500 grams of protein and your inside sees up. Carbs will come second. So if protein is 2 palmfuls, make your carbs 1 palmful. Just that simple. And don't up your protein to up your carbs. That's just fucking cheating and you know it. Veg on the plate. Veg rules all. So cover the whole fucking thing in the veg. Always start with a leafy green base, spinach or kale, a bit of lettuce, and always add colour to the plate. Peppers, onions, mushrooms, whatever it is that you like, add them on there. The more variety, the better. Just for health, fibre, all of that good shit. And there you can't go wrong. Extra points for the fats. If you have chicken, you can throw a little bit of proper butter on it if you're using potato. Or you could use like a red meat or a salmon, and it'll get your fats sorted all in one go. Or if you're really, really hard out and you wanted something else and you're having like chicken and rice or whatever, you can have a square dark chocolate. 85% is the minimum. Okay. And then from there, let's just say 8:30. This is the only thing that's going to have a big change to it. And it's not going to be back that big of a change. If you're someone that's already struggling with snacking in the evening, you're not going to scoff at this. Let's assume you have whey protein. Let's assume I can spell whey protein. 200 grams of Greek yogurt. It can be Liberty. It can be Skyr. It can be that Fage shit. I know it's called Faye, but I just have to say that to trigger you all. 25 grams of nut butter, peanut butter, cashew butter, almond butter, crunchy, smooth, whatever. If you really don't like that shit, you can have Nutella. How about that? 100 grams of berries. Preferably frozen, unless you are worth a fucking mint, because fresh berries cost that shit, you dig? And that is it. That is how simple it is to take a diet of someone that's generally eating like this and take more from that. In the worst case scenario, if you're not even doing that, right? Let's say you have coffee for breakfast. Your next meal is a roll at 12 in the day, right? whoa, 9:30 in the day. Dinner's whatever's on. That's probably more resembling what a lot of people live like right there, is the 3 square meals. All you need to do to that is add a protein bar and a bag of popcorn. And you're already a step closer to where you have to go. Even in snacking, change it for a meal that, isn't snacky shit, but it does something. The yogurt is slow digestion. It's going to be super filling in your gut. Same with the nut butter. Same with the berries. It's just going to give you different textures, different things that are just going to placate you to the point where you're not going to be hanging out the cupboard. And what you do here now to take this a step further, right? To apply all this to you, all I want you to do is go to iifym.com, right? Put in your age, your height, your weight, and your activity. Now, your age, height, and weight, you're going to fucking know. I hope you do. If you don't, you need to go to somebody else and get some help with them. But your activity can be a little bit generalized. So if you sit in your arse all day and you work in an office, you're low activity. If you're on your feet all day and you're a teacher or a builder, you're up the top. You're super active. If you're something in between where, I don't know, you're a receptionist and you spend 75% of the day on your arse and the rest of it on your feet, you're kind of in the middle. So gauge that. You won't go wrong with that as well. Like, it's not going to be the be all end all. The age, height, and weight is the most age, height, and weight is the most important thing. Take that information and put it into ChatGPT, right? This is me just giving you fucking coaching for free here. Take it, but put it in ChatGPT, and ask for a diet based on the maintenance calories that iify.com gives you, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for maintenance calories, so a baseline, so where you're kind of sitting at to just maintain, not for fat loss, not for muscle gain. No matter what your goal is, get maintenance calories, because you're going to run that for 2 weeks to assess how your body adapts to it. All right. So take the information iifym.com gives you, put it into ChatGPT, and ask for a diet based on these maintenance calories, and give a diet based on the maintenance calories, only including foods you enjoy, and list said foods. And then ask for 3 progressive variants of this diet to help bring you closer to X. So X is fat loss, muscle gain, whatever the fuck it is, a recomp. And it'll give you all of those things applicable to you. And then the 3 variants, what you'll do is with each variant, you'll start with your maintenance calories, the first diet that it gives you. You're going to run that for 2 weeks. You're going to take your weight every day and take the average on a Sunday. You're going to take your pictures every Sunday as well. Pictures are taken in the same light, in the same setting, in the same jocks if you can, around the same time, first thing in the morning, right after the toilet, right after you weigh yourself, go take your pictures. Do that for 2 to 3 weeks, compare the progress. And if you feel like you're getting closer to where you have to go and you're starting to stagnate, you put in the next progression. So whatever the second diet is that it gave it, you move up to that now, because you've earned that. You've done 2 to 3 weeks. You've started to notice progress. If it's fat loss, your weight has started to come down. And even if your weight hasn't started to come down, your pictures look tighter. If it's muscle gain, your scale weight has gone up. And even if your scale weight hasn't gone up, your pictures look better. You look like you're bigger. Your training performance is the same. If you're in a fat loss phase and you're looking for fat loss, but your performance is starting to dwindle, I would look at the carbs on that one. If it's a thing of muscle gain and your weight hasn't changed, but you can feel that you're getting stronger, you move on to the next one. And it is just that simple. And you know what you do if you get really badly stuck? Go back to the same chat that you have in ChatGPT, explain your problems and ask it what to do. And I guarantee you, it'll do that shit for you. That's some free coaching right there. You are welcome.